Hello to you, my esteemed colleagues. This is Business English with Richard Halligan. That's me. And in this video, we're going to be looking into the mistakes that Brazilians make when speaking English. Now, before I get down to it, let me just say a few things. To any Brazilians who are learning English, let me just say this. It's okay to make mistakes, because I've been teaching English to Brazilian students for the last few years now, and because since I live in Brazil, I have noticed a few mistakes that people make. So it's okay to make mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes. I make mistakes. You make mistakes. My wife makes mistakes. Actually, no, let me take that back. My wife doesn't make mistakes. If she's watching. Hi, sweetie. Right, anyway, so going back to this. So it's okay to make mistakes, because even myself as a native speaker, I've actually made mistakes as well. I mean, when I've been speaking English, and even in London, in the UK, I've known people who were born and raised in England, and even some of them cannot speak English correctly. So don't feel bad. Don't feel like you have to be perfect. You don't have to, because no one's perfect. Okay, so let's go over some of the key things that people do make mistakes when speaking English. Now, the first one is when Brazilians talk about people. Now, I've noticed that it's very common for a lot of Brazilians to say people is. Now, the one thing which you need to remember is with people, we don't use is, because is singular. We have to use plural. So we use are. So people are. Okay, so people are amazing. The people are friendly. The people are angry. The people are happy. The people are sad. So try to remember that when it comes to using people, we're not talking about one person. We're talking about a group of people. So it becomes plural. Okay. Whenever you're talking about your age, like to say how old you are. So whenever I ask students to tell them about themselves, they give me their name, they say where they live, and one important sentence they always bring in is their age. So they say, I have 15 years old, I have 18 years old, I have 21. So one thing I always do, I say to my students, I'm sorry, you have 20 what? You have 21 what? And he said, years old. And I think, years of what? Now, because in English, when you say that you have a certain number, we think that you're talking about experience, or maybe you're talking about a collection, or how many things that you have. So I have, and then you got like, I have 2 sisters, I have 2 brothers, I have 3 houses. So we use have when it comes to possessions, something that you own. Okay, but when you want to talk about yourself, we would say I am, or I'm. So we use the verb to be. So for myself, if someone said, Richard, how old are you? I am 38 years old at time of recording. 38. So if I was to ask you guys, how old are you? You should respond by saying, I am, and then you say the number of how old you are, and then you can say I am something years old, or I am something. Shopping and the mall. Now, of course, in England we don't really use mall that much. We usually use the term shopping centre. Of course, you do find some people say the shopping mall, which is fine. Shopping is the action. Okay, so where are you going? I'm going to do the shopping. I'm going shopping. So it's not a place. It's not a place. It's the action of what you're doing, because you're going inside a shop, you're looking around, you're picking things up, you're having a look, you're examining it, and then you purchase or you buy the item that you want. Now, there is one other thing which I took very personally, is when it comes to the pronunciation of the letter R, or for Brazilians, R. Okay, now one thing I've noticed is that Brazilians, they don't tend to use the correct pronunciation when it comes to the R, because here in Brazil it's very light. So so when you say R, it's R. So it's very light. It feels like you're trying to say air. It's like that, air. All right. Now, when you are trying to say words in English beginning with the word "are," you have to put a lot of pressure. Now, that's what I tell my students. You've got to put a bit of pressure on it, especially in the UK. So if you want to pronounce my name, in Brazil, they say Richard. So it sounds like the R becomes like an S or a C. He should, like that. So, I actually had to correct a lot of people when I say it's like, no, it's not Richard, it's Richard. Richard. So you've got to put a bit of pressure on their R. And it's the same thing when you are trying to say other words like read or read. Not the color red, but the past to read. So I'm going to read this book. Oh, I have read this book. So it kind of sounds like read or read like that. Well, I think so, no, because some people do sound a bit different when they try to say it. Now, this one is I try to help my students correct themselves with this one. Is whenever they're trying to say ed at the end of any particular word, right? So let's say, for instance, you have the word to look, all right? So the present tense, to look. Now, the past tense, we will say looked. Now, by the way, how I say it, the E disappears and the D sounds like a T. That's how I pronounce my EDs. But here in Brazil, and I'm sure a lot of teachers and also a lot of students here in Brazil have noticed, everyone tends to try to say the full word. So like, look it, cook it, wash it. It's like that. Now, of course, obviously, is a mistake that can be corrected. Okay, so don't feel bad because you're doing this. It's perfectly normal. Okay, all it just comes down to practice. Just try to remember that E, take it away, throw it away, get rid of it. You don't need that E, and try and turn that D into a T. So when you try to say any regular verbs, so you say looked, cooked, washed, talked, played, like that. So as you notice, all of my ends sound like a T. Okay, well, those are some of the mistakes that I've noticed during my time here in Brazil. If anyone else feels like they make the same mistakes, but you are trying to correct it, good on you. Keep trying, keep practicing. But if there is any mistakes that you've noticed that I've left out, feel free to mention it in the comment, because I would like to know what mistakes you feel that you make and how did you find a way to correct it. Thank you very much, everyone. I hope you found this video very useful, and I hope to see you all again. Take care.